I just hope Caroline has brought enough warm kit, because it's Billy Baltic. I think it's about 3 o'clock in the morning. Holy shit, the fuck have I let myself in for?
What did I do? I did a lot of training on much longer rides than I would do normally. Multi-day rides in Scotland where we did, a lot of hours over the course of 3-4 days. In Scotland there's still real wilderness, and a lot of today we've been up in the hills, remote areas, no telephone coverage, nobody else around. We've seen the odd bike, a few hikers around Carrawa station, but really it's been just us and the environment.
How do you prepare for a race like this? Yeah, you often do lots of long rides, you check your equipment. We did some gravel racing.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Went to Sweden and did a 3-day stage race there. Again, just trying to load the body with a multi-day event, which was on gravel, which was a good test. Obviously, it's a completely different intensity. But I think I gained a lot of experience and fitness from all of the gravel races that I've done this year, really. That was so fun.
Was it good?
Yeah, really good. Really good fun. There was a lot of times I could get on my bars.
Yeah, I told you, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, that whole P section was really windy.
Yeah.
And it's gravel and tarmac.
one of the things we're going to do today is just check as well the weight distribution, tyre pressures and all that kind of stuff, because descending up with a heavier bike, it just changes the whole sort of dynamic, and you have to be really careful on where you put the weight and if it's evenly placed. We'll get a good idea of that today. I think on this section, like a lot of sections on the Badlands, I'm going to get a real sense of isolation. And it's just so quiet. It's absolutely amazing out here. Lovely. That climb then, you reckon?
I think so. Look at that view. Today we're going to cut across back onto the route, because you can see like the route that comes back from the desert we're not too far from, so we're going to cut across that middle bit, but then we're going to start a massive climb.
Well, it didn't seem too steep, but
yeah, we'll see. Back up the canyon side basically.
okay. How many Ks have we done
Now? Oh, not many. 10.
Wow, okay.
But we've
yeah, we brought the back of that Badlands ride. Definitely brought the back of it.
yeah, we've probably been doing about 10k an hour.
You guys okay.
101 I am.
101. Caroline?
It was great to go to the registration the day before the race and meet some of the other riders, go through the briefing. It lowered my anxiety a little bit just to meet other people doing the event and see that lots of people were in the same boat. Race morning, I actually felt calmer than I had done the day before. And once the bike was packed, I think that's when my anxiety started to go down a bit, because I'd made the decisions and all I had to do then was ride. 7:30, half an hour until we start. Everyone's just starting to turn up. It's kind of just getting light. And we're down at the plaza. First 4k is neutralised with police, and then we're off. First 25k, we've got 1,000 metres of elevation, so I think it's going to be quite easy to get carried away and go too hard too soon. So I'm going to just take a moment at the back, I think, and just try and get underway nice and steady so that I don't have no energy by the time we get halfway around.
I found myself getting a little bit frustrated because there's a few cyclists around and they're all dick swinging a little bit, and so I would purposely stop and let them go because I just wanted to be on my own. Good thing about Badlands is you pretty much climb straight away. Shakes everybody out. Everybody finds their own rhythm. Some guys go a bit too quick. I'm hoping I'm not one of them. We've only been going an hour. And the only thing I keep telling myself is, right, think how you feel at 12, think how you're going to feel at 18, at 24 hours, keep eating, keep drinking, don't worry about anybody else. Have a chat if you want one, but try and enjoy the views. I like my own thoughts, I like riding my own, I like having no distractions, and then just being able to assimilate and compartmentalize what's going on around me. 3 hours, 3 hours out, settling down. There's a few guys you catch you up with these sort of not want to race you, so I just want to be on my own, to be honest with you. Just want to get into my own rhythm. When I'm on my own, I'll get my rhythm.
Having signed up for Badlands expecting a dry, hot race in the desert, the weather changed dramatically in the week before, and ultimately there was a course change because of the wet conditions out in parts of the route. The reason it's called Badlands really is that some of the route goes along riverbeds, which obviously with rain become rivers or become extremely clogged mud. So they had to change the route to take us out of those areas. Despite the route change, I had an overwhelming sense of anxiety in the few days before the race. Partly because I know my technical skills are really low for those conditions. Didn't like that. And I think partly just because of the scale of this race, I just became really overwhelmed by what I was letting myself in for. So I'm just coming into Gorafe in about 5k, and so far it's been epic already, and I'm wondering how the hell the rest of the ride is going to go. It's been just climbing and climbing and climbing, especially out of Granada, which I knew would be the case, but oh my god, it was really tough. Just trying to keep fuel going on and not race, just go my own pace. It's a little bit frustrating with the descents because I just get people flying past me, but it is what it is. Catch them back up on the hills. So into Gorafe, I'm going to see what's on offer, make a decision depending on time, whether I have something to eat or crack on to Hinojares, where I'd planned to get food anyway. Been going about 130k, I think about 6 hours or so, so not far in really.
One of the most difficult things for this particular type of event is how do you eat, what do you eat, how much do you carry. So you need to have what ifs, you need to have a contingency plan, you need to have nutrition. It's something you just can't risk. And I carried quite a substantial amount of nutrition. There's a payoff here, how much weight you're going to carry at the start and how much good nutrition you want. So my plan is to try and supplement my proper meals that I'm probably going to go for around about every 5-6 hours. I'll stop at a cafe, get some real food, but between that I want to supplement it with my nutrition here. And I'm working out that I've got 90 gram carbs that I can take through the 5 hours, a couple of caffeine gels through the 5 or 6 hours between each one. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then I'm going to carry one as I start the event in my race pack on my vest. That's the idea. And then when I stop, I can transfer these across every single time. In addition to that, I've got carbs, enough there for 5 1 litre bottles of carbs in there. So that's just carbohydrate from pH and fuel, and also their jellies. Got a lot of jellies in there as well, again, to supplement my diet. I'm hoping that's going to be enough. And it saved the day for me, because the first 24 hours, apart from the first cafe stop that I had, some potatoes, the next 3 cafes, the food was absolutely atrocious. And what bridged the gap for me was my nutrition. And those carbohydrate drinks and those gels allowed me to then get to the next restaurant. 8 hours exactly, halfway sort of through the desert. Although it's about 15 degrees, it's been raining, really windy. Gonna stop now, proper stop for some patatas bravas. I need some carbs. I'm getting on loads of sugar, but I need some carbs. So I'm gonna stop here at a nice little cafe. All very friendly faces. Loads of guys have stopped down there, look. And this is about suave, keep it smooth, no spikes. I'm strong on the hills, so I'm happy with the way I'm riding. I've just got to keep fueling. And there's still got 2 days, so see how it goes.
Mark and I chose to ride solo. There's obviously the option too to ride in pairs here, but it was never really a question for us. We both wanted to ride it alone. But it was nice because the first day anyway, we saw each other a couple of times where he was ahead of me leaving somewhere, and I would get there and he would sort of be at a cafe.
¿De negro?
Sí. No. Tienes leche con cacao. Leche con chocolate.
Sí.
¿Sí? ¿Dos?
Sí.
¿Algo con gas? ¿Te da agua?
Hot chocolate, babe.
No.
Soft.
Frío.
So on the first real climb, in fact the highest point of the course, which I think was 2,100 metres, I'd got there and I was climbing there during the night, and this weather front had come in. I would say it was maybe 5 degrees. It was raining, it was foggy. It's official. So long as I've rode my bike, 20 hours in. This climb at the minute, she's going and going. The only godsend is it's tarmac. I've got about a K. It's really foggy. Really thought it. Foggy and cold. I brought a puffer jacket, and I'm so glad I did. Problem is, you're either going uphill or down, and so I'm having to stop all the time. I just hope Caroline has brought enough warm kit, because it's Billy Baltic. I think it's about 3 o'clock in the morning. Holy shit. The fuck have I let myself in for? Just stopped. Just to put a jacket on. Check this out. He obviously wants a bit of food. I'm not giving him any. What's the fox? Seen him? I remember getting to the top, putting my puffer jacket on, doing this really long descent, and getting really cold. I was shivering so much, I was nearly falling off the bike. And I was telling myself all the way down there, right Mark, find a bush shelter, find somewhere to get some sleep. Now I wasn't intending to sleep at all, but because of the conditions and because of my mindset at that point, I wanted to stop. It's just been going well, it's 7:30, so just short of 24 hours. So my plan was to try and ride as long as possible without any sleep. I nearly jacked last night. Jesus, I was so cold. I thought I'd just get me scratchy and get warm. But as soon as we got off the hill, it warmed up quite quickly. And actually, I felt a bit better. So I thought, oh, I'll just crack on. So I've not slept. Sun's coming up. It's still really cloudy, overcast, which is probably a good thing. Maybe not too hot today. We'll see if it burns out. We'll see how far I can get. I really need a good meal though. The cafes have been absolute dire. The food has been shocking.
One of the most difficult things that I found about this race was finding food at the time that you needed food. You had to go for really long stretches of time without a proper meal, just because of riding at times of day where things were closed, but also riding in remote areas where there just wasn't shops and cafes. And it doesn't matter how much you study the route and plan and know when things are open, you're never going to be able to predict exactly where you'll be at a time of day. That's daybreak. I've literally just turned off my headlight and it's so nice to be able to see again. Basically cycled through the night, had one little wobble where I needed to rest, but oh my god, what an epic night. Fog and cold conditions on top, and just so hard getting over the pass. And then I was just rewarded with the most amazing descent. I hadn't expected it to be on road, so it was a nice change. I'm on a service road now, just trying to find some breakfast. It's pretty urgent at this stage. I'm at 370k. I have literally been dreaming about food for 4 hours, and they have pulled out a blinder. Stopped at a restaurant, told him what I was doing. He thinks I'm nuts, but he's delivered me exactly what I wanted, and all I've been thinking about for hours. Fabulous. Oh my word, I thought that climb was never going to end. I've just come from Tabernas, where I got some breakfast, and then there was a climb which my calm is just telling me I completed in 1.5 hours. 14k, so steep, so long. Oh my god. Thank God that's over. That really nearly broke me mentally. So I'm on the descent off that climb now. Luckily it's on tarmac. The whole climb was on gravel. But I've saved a little bit of tortilla with patatas. And it's never tastes so good. Oh my god. I'm completely broken. I need fluids. One of the hardest things for me was when we hit the coast in the Cabo de Gata park and then coming along the coastal area towards Almeria. Partly because of the time of day I was riding, it was so swelteringly hot. But also I was just so empty, I needed a proper meal. So I just had to keep moving. Here we are next to the coast. I'm through 510k. Ride time 29 hours. Faff and walking time a lot longer. It's about, I think about 5 in the afternoon. I've lost track of all days and times. It's getting really, really hard to ride with one hand. So I'm going to have to stop and do this. Yeah, my lower back is so painful. Doing any filming while riding now is too difficult. So, yeah, I think that's inevitable. Right, I'm on another big climb. They just keep coming at you all day long. This one is right up the coast road on the gravel. And then apparently I've got a section of beach to walk, which is impossible to ride, so I'm actually going to be quite glad to get off my bike. I've just got everything hurting now. Legs feel okay, but bum and back and neck and shoulders and yeah, feet, everything is just on fire. So I'm looking forward to getting another few Ks under my belt and then getting some dinner in Almeria and deciding what to do, whether to sleep for a bit or tackle another mammoth climb that is apparently one of the worst on the route, which goes out of Almeria. Great.
It was second evening. I've been doing about 36 hours and there's this climb and it was really gnarly, just, I don't mind climbing, but you're having to think all the time. And yeah, at the start I was thinking, oh man, I'm not going to get up this. It's me been riding my bike for 36 hours. I've had a few stops, 3 or 4. I've not been in a rush on the stops. I feel alright, as in, I feel tired, I feel like me. Sort of, relative proprioception's alright. So I'm trying to do the last 15 hours. I've got 120 mile, 4,000 metres. This is the first of the climbs. I'm just literally trying to soft pedal, trying to get up these hills as slowly as I can, and easy as I can, because it's just, it's hard to describe after already riding 300 odd miles. It's getting a bit gnarly now. Time to use both hands, I think. Stalled it out. Everything's hurting, and you look up the mountain range and you can't even see where the road's finishing, and it just overwhelms you. And then I'm thinking, shit, Caroline's like maybe 3 hours behind me, if that. She's going to be doing this at night. I thought, right, I'll send Caroline a message, let her know that actually on the other side it was smooth, pristine tarmac. Alright babe, okay, so just bear with that climb. It's going to be a nightmare, but when you get to the top you'll see a sign, like a tourist information sign. The descent is really nice gravel, it's almost tarmac, so you've got that to look forward to. So just let me know how you get on, because it is tough, and I just want to know you're going to get to the top all right. Okay.
It's quite possibly the hardest climb, physically, mentally, technically, I've ever done. And not in a fun way. Fist-sized boulders for 2 hours. Bloody awful. I'm at the top now, I'm just up the descent. It's a bit better. It's mountain biking. There's mountain bikers everywhere. In gravel. Man, that was really bad. 3 more climbs. It took me 2 hours. You just see the sun going. That's where I've just come from. Caroline's going to do that in the dark. Guys are just going to be pushing up there. It's really tough. Got some pizza though. Took some pizza with me. With my saddlebag. Emergency rations, pizza. Yeah, that was the darkest, I think, point for me, because I still had over 24 hours of riding to do.
Funnily enough, I got your messages as I just was stopping for a rest. I've got 8k of the climb to go, so I've done 9, I think. Fuck me. Yeah, it's a bit of a beast, but I'm just gonna, like you say, keep going, just have the odd break and try not to ride off the side of the fucking thing. I'll let you know when I get up there. Thank you for the info, and be safe tonight. So I was now in the second night, about 40 hours into the race. I'd done this epic climb. It had nearly broken me. I needed rest. On the descent, on the first village I got to, which was called Enich, there was a little park on the left-hand side. There was another rider who'd just passed me on the descent who said he was going to stop there. So we got into this park. There was a couple of park benches. I actually pitched up on the floor with my roll mat and everything, laid it all out, and said, okay, 2 hours. Lay down for 2 hours. May have slept for probably an hour, broken off and on in that time, but just having that period of having your eyes shut, not concentrating on what you're doing, and letting your body just relax a little bit, I think really helped.
By the end of the second day, I was in a world of shit. It was just survival mode, so I didn't do any filming. I was just suffering, trying to figure out, you know, you're looking at the distance. I think I've only got 80k, I've only got 60k.
That's me, just hit 100k to go, and I'm so fucking happy. Even though it's going to still be a mammoth day, probably 12 hours or something, because I've still got about 3,000 metres of elevation to do. At least now, going into 2 figures, and it feels a little bit like breaking the back of it. Believe it or not, it hasn't felt like that till now.
We all do this because it's hard, and the Badlands is hard. It's really hard. So we're all searching for this test, and we all have a story as to why we're chasing these little adventures. And I think what becomes more apparent after the race is, and certainly for me, was acts of kindness from complete and utter strangers on the course. Because there was a lot of villagers, a lot of locals had no real idea that what was going on. And so when you stopped and explained to them that you were doing a 750k gravel ride from Granada and you had 15,000 metres of elevation, they were just in awe.
I've just had what's probably going to be my last proper piece of food before the summit. I've got 40 k's to go. I'm absolutely scraping rock bottom, and I've come off track a bit to find somewhere to eat because I didn't want to just the route went through the bottom of this village. I didn't see anywhere, and I didn't want to just crack on because I was so empty. So I begged a lady to give me some food from one of the cafes. She was closing, but she's very kindly given me a baguette with cheese and egg inside. And fuck, now I just have to get it done. Bike is sadly still as heavy as it was at the beginning. Okay, 40 Ks. I know it's going to be all uphill. I think it's about 1,500 meters elevation still to do. I hadn't planned to stop in the final village before the last climb, Treveles. As I was leaving the village, I heard this gunshot noise and I knew straight away that I'd snapped a spoke. Mark actually got in touch with the manufacturer Parcours, and Dove said that I would be fine to ride for a few hours. And when I got that message back through from Mark, I was so relieved because I was terrified that I'd be, you know, on this heavy bike going over this rough ground and suddenly the wheel would just untrue, and if I'd be going quickly or something, it would throw me off. So I was still pretty scared going into that last section. It was a real distraction, especially on the last descent. I was just holding my breath, and I just remember coming off the gravel onto the tarmac a few Ks out of the finish line and just starting to cry. I was really emotional at the finish, and I knew I would be. I'd known that for 2 days because it was such an ordeal getting through it. Undoubtedly.
We've all been there.
A day-night finish,
Yeah, yeah.
less than 60 hours.
Pushed it pretty hard, eh?
I never thought that would happen, so I'm super happy.
This is it. We made it. You did it. We crumbled. Thank you very much. Thank you. For being out there and doing it. Oh, mate. Yeah? Nah. I crumbled. You crumbled. You're here. You crumbled. You're in a hole. We're trying catching him on the front. Good on you. Yeah, well done, love. Well done. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Still on you.
I thought you were going to catch me because I broke his...
I always knew I was going to complete it. It never entered my mind that I was going to DNF and withdraw from the event. And you've just got to prepare yourself mentally for that attrition.
I came to this race for that experience. I entered the race because I wanted something really hard and testing that terrified me. And that's what I got.